The Culture Pop Podcast is brought to you by the law offices of Jacob and Ronnie.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mase. If you or a friend or loved one is injured in an accident, the first person you should call is my friend Jacob. When I did this, Jacob was great. He helped me by talking through the next steps, which really put my mind at ease. When you're injured in an accident, you got to have an expert. That's why you call Jacob, just like I did. Call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB, or visit calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Culture Pop Podcast. I'm Steve Mason. That is Sue 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐳𝐿𝐵𝐿. This is the show where we talk about everything happening in the world of pop culture. Great show today. Greg Tarzan Davis, who stars in Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. By the way, he did both Mission Impossibles. He was also in Top Gun Maverick, so he's been all over the place. Rising star. He's going to join us. Sue 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐵𝐿, what's happening there?
What's happening?
What's happening?
I'm going camping this weekend.
Oh, nice. I know you love your travel trailer.
I certainly do.
And I've been in your travel trailer, and it is very luxurious. Luxury is what I would look for from the travel trailer. Now, you go to like a campground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of have this impromptu group of people that you hang with. Are you going with somebody, or do you meet people there?
We have met people there, but we mostly go by ourselves.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a big social gathering, gather around the fire,
No.
that kind of thing.
No.
Roasting
no.
marshmallows, s'mores, nothing like that?
No.
I had such an idyllic view of it.
Well, it is idyllic.
Sure. Do you bring...
Tom cooks a lot.
Oh, by the way, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
Is it today?
No, it was the 22nd.
Oh, so I just got the Facebook post today, so I'm about a week late. But how many years is that?
21.
21. And me and Juan, 20 on January the 1st. So we're giving you a run for your money in the relationship department.
I actually posted something, and I called up a friend to see if it was mean. And at first she thought it was, and then she said, no, it's very funny. So I had posted that, happy anniversary to my sweet husband.
Yep.
55 years of friendship, 21
Nice.
years of marriage. I'm so glad that the first wife and he didn't work out.
Oh, yeah, I saw this post. Yeah, I don't think it's mean. Does the last wife follow you?
Well, we know her. I mean, we know her. I know her from high school.
Oh, she goes all the way back to high school.
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
realize that.
Yes.
I don't know anybody from high school anymore.
Oh, wow. I would say like half of my friends are from high school.
Yeah, my high school
From
girlfriend.
elementary school through high school.
My high school girlfriend, we ran a little foursome, I guess it was a foursome. Me and my girl, Emily, along with Aaron Warren and Mike Pauken, and we had a great time. But those are the only people I keep track of from high school. I keep track of college friends more than high school friends. So, all right, here we go. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new series that has just wrapped up. It's called The Studio. It has been created by Seth Rogen, has a terrific cast. It's very inside Hollywood. Sue 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐵𝐿, I'm going to let you go first. What did you think of The Studio?
I think it's hilarious. It has shades of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
He is so Larry David in so many ways.
He really is.
At times, I think a little more likable, and then at times just as pathetic.
Yeah.
And I love the Inside Hollywood because it's, so much of what my life has been for my career. But I do think, and it's like we had talked off the show about the final episode, and sometimes I feel like it goes a little too over the top.
Okay.
A little too much for my
So
taste.
the CinemaCon sequence on stage, the presentation you thought was too much?
Yes, I totally thought it was too much. But the writing is always amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Bryan Cranston was hilarious.
I told Brian it's the funniest thing, and he did Malcolm in the Middle, he did Seinfeld. It's the funniest thing he's ever done.
Well,
for me.
It was so much physical comedy from him,
exactly.
too.
Yeah. I thought he was just amazing. Really funny.
And what was the line? What did he say? My legs are assholes or something.
What was your favorite episode?
It's kind of a tie, but the one where he was dating the doctor.
Yes.
And they had that. And he was pleading his case on whose job was more important.
And he was making a fart movie.
And he was making a fart movie. I mean, I just love the fact that he was comparing what he does to doctors. And, you know, when you talk to people who work in show business, look, we're not as nearly as important as doctors. We're not saving people's lives or just the idea that we could do one wrong thing and somebody dies.
Yeah, right.
But working in television is very, very stressful.
Yeah.
So it had merit to us in a bizarre way. It definitely had merit.
Yep.
So I love that episode, but I love the Golden Globes episode. I thought the callbacks, the Sal Saperstein getting mentioned
was so
basically
funny.
Everybody.
Ike Barinholtz was
hilarious.
Fantastic in that show. Yeah.
It was hilarious. And then the fact that Zoe Kravitz gives him his due and the playoff music drowns it out. It's like, oh my God, it was so perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I am a big fan of episode 2, which was the oneer, which is Sarah Pauli trying to get a oneer in her movie, and the whole episode being a oneer, and Seth Rogen getting in the way of Sarah Pauli being able to make the oneer. I just thought that's just brilliant. It's kind of meta, right? It's kind of meta. It's a oneer about a oneer. And if you were them, and if you were the studio, what episode would you submit? Because you can only submit one for the Emmys.
Wow. A part of me wants to say the Golden Globes, but my concern is that it's too inside baseball.
Right.
It would be the Doctor episode.
The Doctor episode? See, I think it's got to be CinemaCon 1. The first episode of CinemaCon with the old school Hollywood buffet, which is just the funniest fucking thing. Filled with what was in there? There
mushrooms.
Was mushrooms, exactly. And Zoe Kravitz got so hammered. They all got so Griffin Mill, who's Bryan Cranston, got so hammered. At one point, they were following his handprints in nacho cheese. Oh, look, he's been here. There's nacho cheese. It's just such a funny ass episode.
I just love when they were looking for him, and every time you turned around, he was in more ridiculous predicaments. When he was at the craps. No, he wasn't at the craps table. He was at the blackjack table.
Yep.
And he had, what did he have? Like, he had a lobster. What did he have?
He ate a lobster tail right out of him.
Right. He had a lot. He was eating a lobster tail. And then he's hanging over the banister that goes to the, where the gondola was, and he falls into the gondola.
Right.
They're like, where is he? And then
where is he?
He's just, and then he's like, he's going down on a statue. I mean, it was insane.
It was funny.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's the episode. That one cracks me up. Now, have you ever had an old school Hollywood buffet at your house?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Would you call what we did at my house for my birthday an old school Hollywood buffet?
Not really, because I've been to a lot of parties where there's like a pot bar. There's a weed bar.
Yeah.
I've never heard of an old school Hollywood party.
No.
A buffet.
A buffet.
I've never ever heard of that before.
So you're not from the oldest school. The oldest school you're in the old school, and they didn't have it then.
I mean, I've been to parties where, cocaine was flowing freely, and there was a table there with rolled up bills and white powder on mirrors.
Yeah. Did you ever try cocaine?
Did I ever try it?
Yeah.
Yes, I used to do it all the time.
All the time?
It's so funny that you asked me that, because did I ever do cocaine? I was once on the road
Yep.
in Atlanta, and the club put us up in a really cool house.
Mm-hmm.
And the comic that I worked with, I'd never met him before, and he was just a wild man. One
Right.
of the funniest comics I'd ever met in my life. And it's just the two of us in the house together, and we both enjoyed doing coke,
Right.
and he had a ton of it. So after the show one night, we're sitting in the den in the downstairs room, and
Okay.
it's all wood. It's all wood paneling. All the furniture is wood, and there were some logs for the fireplace. And when we used them all, he's like, "Oh my God, it's getting cold down here." He actually started breaking the furniture
Oh, really?
and putting it in
the fire.
fireplace. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" I mean, we were so high, and
Yeah.
the thing with cocaine, like, we were up till probably like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
And then I had to kind of like get it together for the show the next night. And the only way to get it together was to do more coke.
Wow.
Oh,
I
boy.
did not
Yeah.
know this side of you.
Oh God, I love coke.
I
Oh,
tried
boy.
it one time, and I thought, oh my God, I could get so strung out on this shit.
Yeah.
It's
But-
bad.
But the thing is, I mean,
Right.
I mean, I'm-
Before you do it, I want to tell you the way I tried it.
oh,
So-
okay.
So I was a program director of a radio station, 93Q WRQN in Toledo, Ohio. And I decided what records went on the air and what records we didn't play. And so this guy named Charlie Miner was a record executive for A&M. And he wanted me to play a 38 Special song. And I said, Charlie, 38 Special is so over. They're not going to have another hit. I'm not playing this record. And he said, let me see if I can change your mind. And he took a little bag of blow and he put it on my table. And I tried it for the very first time. I was 21 years old. And of course, you know what the next record was? It was from 38 Special. Exactly. That's a way to get me. So now, yeah, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No. It's just that, like, I remember the first time, maybe the first couple of times I didn't really get as high. It took a couple of times to like really get high.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I'm talking, it sounds like I was an addict. I wasn't like a cocaine addict.
I'm not saying you're a cokehead.
No. What I'm saying is that I just really liked it, and everybody was doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, I worked a job where and there were stand-up gigs where comedians were getting paid in coke.
Oh, really?
I worked like a regular day job where my boss paid people in coke. I mean, it was just, it was like the 80s was insane.
So that's when it was. It was the 80s. Like early 80s? Was it late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah. But I mean, I really got into it. I mean, I did it in the 70s. I think the first time I did cocaine, I was probably, I don't know, 17 or 18 years old.
Wow. Yeah. That's dangerous shit. By the way, now, never do it. I would never do it now. Ever.
Oh, God. When I hear that people are still doing it, and like back then.
Well, because there's fentanyl.
Then,
You get a bad, and there's fentanyl in it.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that, drugs, when I was really doing drugs, were pure drugs.
Right. The good old days when drugs were drugs.
Were drugs and you knew what you were getting. Like ecstasy. When I did ecstasy, it was a derivative of nutmeg. It was
really?
It was natural. It was actually used by therapists to their patients who had a hard time opening up in therapy.
And it was like people who were afraid to go out of the house, the same thing, agoraphobia, they got ecstasy. But then it became a recreational drug.
And
now
it's
just Molly.
And then it just gets, they call it, who is it? Brett Ellis Easton. What did he call it? Peruvian marching powder. I think that's what he called it in what was it? Less Than Zero, his first book.
Less Than Zero. That is such a depressing movie.
Oh, God. Very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad movie.
All right, so let's shift out a very sad movie to the 25 biggest pop culture moments from the first quarter of the 21st century. So, Sue, I sent you this list, and I have to say, I could not agree more with number one, which is Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars in 2022.
Absolutely.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it still doesn't even seem like it could happen. It doesn't seem real. And then winning the award and everybody standing for him, even though he just slapped the host. It's like the weirdest shit. So I agree with that. I agree with that one. What do you think of number two, which is Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl in 2004?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time you ever saw anything like that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it was totally controversial. It was a big deal.
There was a huge FCC fine. I think it was CBS that got the FCC fine because it wasn't their fault. They didn't know Justin Timberlake was going to rip her top off.
And everybody who was watching it, I mean, kids were watching it. I mean, it was Super Bowl.
But I got to be honest, it was like a big pasty. Who cares?
Right.
By today's standards, that is the mildest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But at the time, I've always said that if you want to have a great Super Bowl halftime show again, bring back Janet Jackson with Justin Timberlake to do it again.
With no pasty.
With no pace. Oh, well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, so number three, Kanye West interrupting Taylor Swift at the VMAs. I remember this so clearly. I was watching that night, and Kanye, after Taylor Swift won, Kanye rolled up behind her and said, Beyonce should have gotten this award. I found it to be crazy. Everybody found it to be crazy. He later made up with Taylor Swift. Does that deserve to be on this list?
Yeah, I think it does. And, it really was a precursor of who he was later going to become. I mean, if you thought that was crazy, wait until a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, when he becomes in
the century. And you'll see
anti-Semite.
Really how crazy this guy is.
Yeah.
He's, a self-proclaimed Nazi now.
Off the cliff. All right, number five, and this was a big one. Bruce Jenner comes out as Caitlyn Jenner in 2015. It was certainly, as a pop culture moment, it was gigantic, spurred all kinds of conversation. I think that's a really big one.
Well, that was a total shocker. And I remember Caitlyn ended up on the cover of Time magazine. Do you remember
really?
that?
I didn't realize that, no.
Yes, and the cover said, Woman of the Year. And my comic friend, Mike Ivey, said, Woman of the Year, more like Woman for a Year. Great joke.
Oh, God, that's a good joke. All right, this one I don't think belongs there. Leo DiCaprio finally winning an Oscar in 2016. I was glad. It's a great movie, The Revenant.
Who
he
cares?
was terrific in it. But, I mean, it's just another guy busting through with an Oscar, right?
And what significance, really?
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Number seven,
and
Prince Harry.
And that I don't agree with either. This next one, 7. Who
Prince
cares?
Harry quits being a prince. Meghan Markle quits being a princess. They call it the Megxit. And she wrote a big book afterwards. I could not care less about these people.
Yeah, I mean, look, Prince Rainier of Monaco, he did it better. He married Grace Kelly.
Yeah,
who was
that's
an
right.
actress. So,
Sure.
Been there, done that. And you know what? Who cares?
I got to be honest. And poor little princess, they want to be left alone. And yet they keep showing up courtside at Laker games. If you want to be alone, don't sit on the court at a Lakers game.
Well, they did that Netflix series. It's like,
I know.
give me a break.
We want to be alone. All you do is spill out your secrets. Not interesting anymore. Poor little princess. Poor little prince. All right, number 8. I don't quite get this one. There was a Ticketmaster controversy over Taylor Swift Eras Tour. Now, we did get caught up in this because we were trying to buy Taylor Swift tickets, and Ticketmaster did fuck the whole thing up. But I don't think that was the cultural moment. I think the cultural moment was the actual tour. I mean, that is the biggest tour in the history of the world. No tour has ever made that much money. She's a whole economy to herself. And her showing up your town meant a guaranteed full stadium. I think she did multiple nights at SoFi Stadium. I mean, to me, the tour is the thing. And I saw it, by the way, and she's terrific.
I mean, it was a glitch with Ticketmaster, right?
Yeah, it really was just a
it
glitch.
was just a glitch. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's a real stretch.
But
for
you
me.
agree on the case, the tour, I think, is a great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean-
And the fact that she became like the highest seller, just the amount of money that she was making and the sellout crowds. I mean, that was like monumental.
And I mean, this was the kind of concert where Kiss FM here in Los Angeles changed its name to Swift FM while she was doing her tours. That's how big a deal she was.
Right.
Number 9, never heard of it, don't know it. Anna Abani Wedding Extravaganza.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. Well, he's like a billionaire through his dad. I don't even know what the company is. I know his wife is super wealthy. To me, it's ridiculous that it's on this list. But to me, it was just fun seeing guests like Bill Gates wearing like a Nehru like glittery shirt. How everybody dressed up in Indian garb for this wedding.
Well, I mean, by the way, I mean, it's a pretty good wedding. Katy Perry, the Backstreet Boys, and Justin Bieber all performed.
Yeah. And you know how much this wedding cost?
No.
It was $6 million for this wedding.
Or actually, was it 6 million?
Was it more than that?
I'm looking at this USD 600 million.
Oh, I'm sorry, 600 million. 600 million it was. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's
$600 million.
I got two.
So,
I got one word for him. Elope. It's so much cheaper.
Well, I wonder, and the guy is like, I think his fortune, it's like $40 billion. And I want to know, what is the proper money gift for a billionaire? I mean, you can't be hack on this.
We'll donate and help you with your new palace or whatever.
Or we'll name a wing after you.
Yeah,
a hospital wing after you.
That's insane. Number 10 is Korean entertainment in the U.S. Both Squid Game and Parasite were gigantic. Squid Game won all the awards. Parasite won Best Picture. I mean, there were great moments. They were cool. I didn't watch Squid Game, but I did love Parasite. But for me, it doesn't belong as one of the top pop culture moments.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, it was Netflix's most watched non-English show of all time. So definitely it was a monumental event for them. But I agree with you. Doesn't belong here.
All right. So what else on the list grabbed you?
The envelope gate.
The envelope gate, it is so great.
It's so great. It's so great. La La Land erroneously gets the award over Moonlight. Total mix-up. When that happened, I posted something, and this isn't the exact post, but it's in the ballpark of the post.
Okay.
So remember the MasterCard priceless ads. So I wrote, Giorgio Armani tuxedo, $4,000. Harry Winston diamond necklace, $300,000. Limo ride, $500. Giving the Academy Award for Best Picture to the wrong film, Price Waterhouse.
Oh, Price Waterhouse. That's
Price
great.
Waterhouse.
That's so funny. Yeah, I've never seen. Do you remember who was given the awards?
Who was given it was Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway.
And apparently, I don't know which one fucked it up. I don't know if it was Faye Dunaway or if it was Warren Beatty, but it was a mess. I've heard Faye Dunaway's just now. Well, watch that documentary. She is a nightmare.
She is psycho.
Elon Musk taking over Twitter.
I don't give a shit.
Me either. Donald Trump impeachment and reelection. And I don't consider that to be a pop culture moment. Michael Jackson's death.
Wait, let's go back. Let's go back to Trump, okay?
Okay.
To me, the pop culture moment for Donald Trump is The Apprentice. Because if there's no Apprentice, Donald Trump never becomes president.
That's true. He needed that show. So the pop culture moment is The Apprentice, which led to all the rest of it. That's a good take. I like that. Michael Jackson's death was gigantic. I work at downtown at LA Live, and they had the funeral ceremony down there at what now is crypto.com arena. And they had chandeliers hanging all through LA Live. I forget exactly how they did it, but they had some sort of stand or construction where they hung chandeliers, and they were all through LA Live. It was a gigantic, crazy event. That was the funeral, but the death and all the details of the death and the doctor and the propofol and all that stuff certainly fascinated the world.
Yeah. It wasn't that big of a surprise, though, was it? That he died?
Yeah, it was a surprise. He was not at death's door, was he?
Well, we knew that he was doing all these drugs. Right? Didn't we?
I don't know. Did we know that he was getting propofol every night?
I thought we did, but
maybe not.
I don't know.
17, Barbenheimer.
That was huge.
It was gigantic.
Yes.
And it, by the way, I think studios are going to replicate that in the future. We're going to see, it used to be, oh, you've got that date. We won't take that. We'll move to the next date. No, I mean, I think that the movie theater business
wasn't it recently that they did 2 movies on the same date?
Yeah,
again?
they did.
What was it? Was it
there
Top
was
Gun?
one.
It wasn't Maverick, was it?
No. I can't think which one it was.
Yeah.
But they did do another one. They did duplicate it.
Right.
And it worked again. We'll figure out what that is. Launch of the iPhone. Oh my God.
Huge.
I mean, it changed the world.
Totally.
How is that not number one?
I know. Really.
I mean, it changed every aspect of our lives.
Right. And every phone that is not an iPhone tries to be an iPhone.
Yeah, no, Samsung is working hard.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to create something that's comparable. But yeah, iPhone invention, I think, should be number one. It hasn't necessarily been all good. There's a lot of bad stuff that came along with it, social media, etc. Rise of the Kardashians starting in 2007. Yeah, they're kind of eponymous, right?
Yeah, I know, but
Did I use the right word? Eponymous?
Eponymous?
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
Eponymous. You going to trust me on that one?
I might challenge you. I might challenge you in Scrabble.
We do this on Mason and Ireland all the time, where I use a word and then we go back and see if I used it correctly.
Right.
So eponymous seems as
I was actually going to ask everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that works.
Okay.
You had a couple that weren't on the list.
Well, the Trump one, but another one that I feel they really missed the boat was the Osbournes.
Oh, you're right. The beginning of reality TV.
Absolutely. And
it's what started it all.
It spawned all these reality shows.
Yeah. Yeah, we should file a formal complaint and try to get this amended to include the Osbournes.
Okay,
people forget it is such a gigantic. I don't think people realize what a big deal the Osbournes was, because you look at it now, and Peacock would not, or Bravo would not exist if there had never been an Osbournes. There would have never been a Real World. There never would have been Road Rule.
No, but
did Real World come first?
They came before.
Oh, okay.
They came before. But I'm talking about kind of like the half-hour reality sitcom format, because after the Osbournes, anytime I got interviews for jobs because I worked on the Osbournes. Like every show wanted to be the Osbournes. Right.
And you were the only one who knew. Now, and the difference, by the way, now, for the Osbournes, nothing was scripted.
Never.
Now, I think Andy Cohen's there saying, throw a drink at her and pull her weave or whatever they do on that show.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's disgusting.
Flip a table.
Hey, flip that table right now. So that's a good one. Reality TV in general has been just a huge defining part of the 21st century so far. Anything else? I was thinking streaming. Just streaming.
Streaming? Social media?
Social media is another one. Yeah, I mean, these are big ones. iPhone, streaming, social media. These are the things that have really, really changed the world.
AI.
If you're listening right now, we could be AI for all you know. For all you know. All right, that's good conversation. Hey, I want to remind everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, we would love it if you would hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And leave us any comment, any review. If you've got a guest that you would love to have and we haven't thought of them yet, suggest a guest, react to the biggest pop culture moments of the 21st century so far, anything we're talking about, leave us a comment, leave us a review down on the YouTube page. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, subscribe to the show. Big points if you leave us a 5-star rating and a good review. And if you got a friend who you know would be into the Culture Pop podcast, make sure to tell them about it and keep on coming back. We're always looking for new listeners and new viewers. All right, here we go. Our guest today is one of Hollywood's rising stars. He has starred in 3 of the biggest movies of the last decade, Top Gun Maverick, and the last 2 Mission Impossible movies, including Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is in theaters now. Greg Tarzan Davis joins us. Greg, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate y'all inviting me.
So do we call you Greg or do we call you Tarzan? I'm unclear.
My mom calls me Greg, so y'all can call me Tarzan, unless y'all want me to call y'all mama.
So here you do. You wake up. It's Tuesday morning after Memorial Day weekend, and your movie, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, has done $77 million over the weekend. Gigantic numbers worldwide. What does that feel like as you wake up today?
It feels, it's a relief. That's what I would say. It's a relief. You know, everybody, I don't care what any actor says or filmmaker says. They're like, oh, we don't worry about the numbers. We just want to make art. No, you're waiting to see what those numbers look like at the end of a weekend. And I'm really happy that people came out to support that. But it's also an indication that, you know, the film industry, theaters are back, because not only did our movie do well, but Lilo and Stitch did astronomical numbers. So this is a good sign for the theaters and the industry as a whole.
So this is your 3rd go around with Mr. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
What's different about? Is it different from film to film? Does it feel different from film to film? Because his films do amazing.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. The first film I did with him, we kind of did $1 billion. That was crazy.
That was a little boutique, arty kind of niche. That was very nichey, right? Top Gun Maverick.
It was like a independent film that just so happened to do well. You know, it was Nora. That's what it was. No, so that was one of my first films that I had ever done, really. And to hit that $1 billion mark, people were like, "Don't get used to that. That's like, you know, uncommon for that to happen." So I've had the expectation of like, no, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to hit that. So these other 2 films, I'm coming in with a little bit more a different perspective, a more experienced perspective. Like, okay, maybe not every film will hit it. So I'm just thankful for having a great opening.
So Tom Cruise, I've heard so many amazing things from so many actors about such a great guy he is, and about the way he really locks in with each actor and sort of makes it. Tell me what it's like on a Tom Cruise set.
So he's the biggest movie star, obviously. And you go into work understanding you're working with one of the best to do it for the past 40, 50 years. And when he comes on set, there's a type of energy that he brings with him. And it's like this infectious, like, hey, we're about to conquer the world. We're about to do something great type of energy. His passion is there, and you just feed off of that. And, you know, we see the stunts that he does, but that watching him, the example that he sets, it makes you feel like you can do those type of stunts as well. It's also fun because he's a character. When he's not trying to kill himself, he's you know, we can like all relax and you know, between takes we're joking, we're dancing, we're playing games and stuff like that. So it's a great experience. You just have a bunch of kids who are doing what they love to do.
You know, it surprises me with so many actors get to a certain point, and some very early in their career, direct their films, and he hasn't. he actually is called a ghost director.
Mhm.
So what is he like when he works in conjunction with the director? How involved is he?
Oh, so it's funny you say that because I asked him. I was like, because he knows everything. The people that he's worked with, he's been working, longer than them. He just understands every aspect of filmmaking, and he's also a producer, so he's very hands on when it comes down to those, what story we're telling. And seeing him work with Joe and McHugh, he's I don't know. I don't necessarily understand what ghost director means, but he just gives his input like any actor would. But he just knows on the internal level of like what works and what doesn't work. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you ever want to direct?" And he was like, "No, no, 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 no." He said, "I'm gonna leave that to the people who are actually good at that." He said, "My part is to facilitate what these directors are doing in the best way possible." And he gives his input. But working with great directors like Christopher McQuarrie, they take the input of like, hey, maybe we should do this. He's taking it from me. So I'm taking pointers from how he operates on a set. We're collaborating with directors.
But does he give notes to actors on set? Or he leaves that to the director?
He leaves that to the director. He's never given, to my knowledge, I don't think he's ever given a note. He's never given a note to me. I'm going to say it's because I don't need notes.
You're Tarzan, for Christ's sake.
Exactly. I can't speak for everybody else, but I've never received a note from him. But I do, I look to him. I look to my other co-stars like a Shea Wiggum and a Haley Atwell, Palm Clementine, and Simon Pegg, because they've been doing this longer than me. So I'm seeking the notes. I'm like, hey, what did I do that, I can improve on in this thing? Am I giving you what you need? Am I playing this in your interpretation? Like, because I'm trying to learn from all of them.
So I want to talk about practical stunts versus effects, because the Mission Impossible series, and of course, Tom Cruise, he's all about the practical stunts, and we see him walking on the wing of a plane and all that stuff. What does that bring to a movie as opposed to using CGI or effects?
I want you to sit here and think about when you watch a film that has CGI that's done on green screen, you feel it, you see it. And even if the CGI is really good, that this particular actor or this particular movie wasn't done practically. So you can still great storytelling. It'll put you on the edge of your seats, and you're like, wow, this is great. This is very impactful. But when the actor is really doing it, you see it on screen, and it's like, and I've learned how they do it. They do certain shots to show like, hey, this is Tom. Like if you watch the biplane, his face is like being contorted.
Yeah, his face is doing this. Yeah, exactly.
He does these things to show like, hey, we're really up there, and the audience is reminded by that. And he doesn't die, because he was so impressed with me when I'm watching him do it in real life. I'm like, you might die. I might be out of a job. But the audience he doesn't die, but you're still like gripped, like, oh my gosh, what if that was me? There's a subconscious thing that the audience has of like, oh, this, like, is he really going to make this? And I think that just adds a great element to the stories that are being told. And I wish more movies, more studios would say, like, let's make more practical things, even if it's just shooting in real locations instead of shooting on a green screen.
Well, the underwater scenes were insane. I mean, I just can't believe how I just can't believe how they do it. And so much of the movie was so suspenseful and so anxiety riddled.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, not as much as watching the Knicks in the playoffs, but there were moments where I'm like, oh, I can't even look at it, But that underwater stuff was just that. I mean, that was like next level. I mean, just crazy.
By the way, I read an article that says he couldn't hold his breath for 6 minutes, and it's like some kind of record. Is that true?
I didn't witness it. This was in wasn't it Fall? No, it wasn't in Fallout. I think it was the one before that. I didn't see it. I heard it. I seen him underwater before doing it. So while he's doing the underwater sequence in Final Reckoning, so I'm watching on the monitors, and he has the mask on and the person has to get out of shot. The safety diver has to get out the shot. So he comes in, they remove his mask. And as soon as they remove a mask, I'm watching the monitors and I hold my breath. It's an instinctual thing. Like as an audience member, this is what I mean. I hold my breath and the guy goes away. McHugh can't call action yet because he has to clear the frame. And this is a wide lens. We're talking, 30 millimeter. So, and I'm like, dude, will you get out the shot so he can say action and we can get the scene? So Tom is doing a scene. He's like swimming. He has to do all of this craziness in the thing. So I'm holding my breath and I'm getting weak in my knees. I'm just like about to pass out. And he's still going. And I'm still gasping for air because he's also, I'm feeling it. Then all of a sudden they say cut. And I'm like, realistically, you were like, but he can't do it. So the guy has to swim, drive him his daisy, just slowly swimming back. I'm like, hurry up and give him the oxygen. So I guess that was the closest I got to seeing him do his 6-minute breath hold. That was intense.
Whoa.
So I let me ask you about you. So where does the name Tarzan come from?
So I used to have long hair, long dreadlocks all the way down since I was a child. And I was a wild child. And my family, they used to like, Tarzan, it's stuck. And as I got older, I was like, man, Greg Davis is boring. Nobody's going to remember that. So I said, let me just add the Tarzan, Greg Tarzan Davis. So I go by Tarzan. And I don't know, it works. It worked better. If you would have seen me with the hair, you'd be like, oh, no doubt. Now
that makes sense. Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
So were you a Tarzan fan as a kid?
I love the movie. Oh man, Phil Collins come on. Oh man, that's hard screen.
So you grew up in New Orleans. You became a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what prompted you to say, all right, I am going to pursue my dream?
I've always wanted to be an actor since I was a child. I used to watch Denzel. He's the reason I wanted to become an actor. What he used to do to the women in my family, how they used to go crazy behind him. I said, I need to be able to do this to women across the globe. But I didn't have anybody in my family who was an actor. I didn't know it. New Orleans wasn't the Hollywood South that it is today. So I let it go. And as I got older, I started teaching. I used to tell my kids, like, hey, follow your dreams. You can be whatever you want to be. As a child, the possibilities are endless. And one of my kids asked me, like, hey, well, what did you want to be when you got older? And I was like, I want to be a teacher. And okay. And I was like, no, you don't. I don't know why. Kids have a thing about teachers, but they don't like us. Yeah, you didn't want to be a teacher. That's stupid. I'm like, okay. So I started thinking, I was like, man, I really want to be an actor. And I felt this thing where I'm like, I'm preaching to them, like, follow your dreams. And I'm not even doing it. I'm not taking my own advice. So I said, let me give myself 2 years and see how this turns out. Foolish for me to give myself 2 years, but I was blessed with opportunities within those 2 years, and I took advantage of it, and I haven't looked back since. Hopefully, I don't ever have to look back.
Well, I'll tell you, it's very impressive because I read you came to LA in 2018, and then you got a gig in 2021, a big gig.
I came in 2017, and then I booked in Top Gun in 2018.
Wow.
Okay. I mean,
wow.
That is like insanity. And I'll give you a little reference point. I did stand-up for a very long time. And when I first started doing stand-up, there were guys that had been doing it for like 10 years. And I remember saying to them, like, 10 years? Like, you haven't been on TV yet. I mean, like, at what point do you like say, well, maybe I'm not going to make it? And they said, 10 years. I mean, 10 years is nothing. Back then it was nothing. I mean, nowadays, there's so many other outlets for people who are doing stand-up. You can do YouTube videos. You can do so many things so people can see you. But to me, I just marvel at the fact that within a year, you got like a role in a major, major movie. I mean, that's very impressive.
Like I said, I've been blessed with the opportunities. And I tell people all the time, like, we all have opportunities every single day. It's about if we want to accept those opportunities or if we just want to let it, pass us by the wayside because we're too blind to it or we just weren't prepared. And when I said, hey, I'm going to be an actor, I was like, I'm competing with people who have been doing this for years, kid actors, people who went to college for it. And I said, I need to figure out how compete with them. So I created this structure, and I was like, I'm gonna wake up at 4:30 every day, and I'm not gonna stop till 5-6 because I've heard that when you're on set, you work for 12 hours a day. And I said, okay, I need to be able to have the stamina to do that. So I would read scripts, practice auditions, work on my speech, do all of these things that I've seen online. YouTube is amazing. They tell you what you need to do. So I did that. And yeah, I was going back and forth from New Orleans to Chicago for auditions, booked a co-star. And all of this to say, I was also naive. I didn't understand what this thing is. I heard about the struggle, and I was excited to embrace the struggle. I wanted to be a waiter because I'm like, this is what actors do. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to do it. So I drove Uber and everything, and I tried my hand in all of it. But I was naive doing things. I just walked into it blindly, and I think that naivety also helped me, get along, because you ask another act, ask me today, will I drive from New Orleans to Chicago for an audition to book a co-star and put yourself up as a local hire for $1,200 minus what your agents take, minus what the government takes? Would I do that today? Hell no. But at the time, I didn't know no better, and I just saw I booked a job on Chicago PD. I'm Oscar worthy. You know what I mean? I was like, Denzel, I'm coming for you.
So let me ask you a heavy question. Ready? When you were a kid, maybe 10, maybe 11, somewhere in that range, when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, how did that impact your life personally?
I was displaced. I ended up moving to, I was fortunate enough to get out of the city. My family and I, we always left when hurricanes came. So I left like the day before it hit. And I ended up going to Texas and Arkansas. And then we moved into Tennessee. And being a kid, I think I turned 13 maybe at the time. I can't remember. I think about 13. I didn't really understand it, to be honest with you. I'm out of school. I'm like with family and my cousins, and we're just having fun and whatnot. But when they're watching the TV, or family watching TV, and they're just crying because half of our house, was destroyed, you're just like, oh, this is something happened. Something bad has happened. But I was living in a hotel, and I was like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I felt like that and everything. So I won't sit there and say like, hey, it was so like detrimental to me, because I was just too young to understand the full magnitude of what was going on.
I want to go back to you being on set for 12 hours a day. What do you do for yourself to keep yourself focused, to keep yourself awake, to keep yourself present? What's your routine?
Are we talking about when I'm on sets now?
Yeah.
I have this saying that I don't get tired, and I pride myself on like not getting tired. I have some great co-stars that, we hang in each other's trailers. When it comes down to like getting in the character, I do this meditation every morning. I do my journal and whatnot, and I just try to create the character. But I'm doing what I love to do, so it's not hard for me to say, hey, stay awake, stay present. And I like to visit the set, so I don't just sit in my trailer when I'm working. I go to set and I'm watching the masters at their crafts. I'm shadowing McHugh and trying to pick his brain. Even when I wasn't on a call sheet that day, I was like, hey, come get me. Oh, y'all start at 6? I can start at 9. You can come get me at 9, and I'll just come see what y'all are doing, because I know y'all take a long time to turn the cameras over. So I would spend my off days on set. I just love it so much.
Now, you are known, according to Wikipedia, so taken for what it's worth, as having an intricate workout plan. So how do you go about getting your body ready for a movie? And yeah, I mean, you got a crazy build.
Mm-hmm. It depends on the role. I've done Mission and I've done Top Gun. There were 2 different workout programs that I put myself.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the difference between the 2?
So with Top Gun, you want to be able to, because we're pulling G's, and it was all about cardio. You need to have, stamina in there, but you also need to have like a strong, solid build. So I did a lot of weightlifting. I was very muscular in Top Gun, because you want to be able to clinch and when you're in the F-18, it feels like you're getting beat up. It feels like you just left a football game with an NFL player and you was just getting like knocked around the whole time. So that was my main thing, just lifting weights as much as possible, strengthening my neck and everything to be able to withstand the dogfighting. And then with Mission, I wanted to be being that big. I don't really care for it. So I wanted to like shrink. So I lost a lot of weight. I was on this meal plan where I was eating grass and steaks. That's all I was eating.
Wait a minute, grass. What do you mean?
Grass? What do you mean?
Salad.
Okay, salad. Yeah, grass.
Yeah,
that's what us bodybuilders call it, grass.
Okay, you weren't grazing in a field somewhere.
No. So I did a lot of, and that required a different skill set. So I have a background in martial arts. I'm a second-degree black belt. So I was like, hey, let's dive into that. So with my trainer, Ruda and Wade Eastwood, we just focused on like boxing and kickboxing and martial arts. So it was a lot of that, not so much weights. Cardio, boxing was a big thing. And the workouts, I wake up every morning, still to this day, 4:30, and I will work out at 5, do about an hour on that session. While filming, I would do my own session, my own workout. Then I would go work out with them after filming or in the middle of the day when I have.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of the fight scenes are choreographed. How much were you able to incorporate your skills?
All of it. So what I've learned, because this is my first fight scene and on screen, and what I learned was good filmmakers, they try to, they take your character and they try to use your background. They say, okay, who is your character? So who is they got? Where is he from? What type of military background that he has? Like Palm, who plays Paris in the movie, she's an assassin, but she knows how to kick. So they have incorporated a lot of her kicks. She's freaking fantastic with the legs, just like pew, 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 pew. Where mine is, I have that boxing. We didn't really go heavy into martial arts with me kicking, but I have that like boxing, close combat type thing. So everything was close quarters. And the sad part about when you're making movies are you film so much content, then you watch the film and they use so little of what you shot. And it's like, why did you? But the fight scene in this film looks fantastic. But I told McHugh, I was like, God damn it. I freaking, and you just like exited it all out.
Yep.
Boxing is great. I took boxing lessons for like 3 years. And I loved it. Just regular boxing, not kickboxing.
But did you put the gloves, like the gloves?
I put the gloves on. I went in a ring. My sparring partner didn't hit me, but I was able to hit him, which felt great. But when I after a while, my husband said that ever since I started taking boxing, I was talking back a lot more. Because I was walking around the house like, hey, don't even, anytime he would be near me,
Not Bob and weave and hit him with an uppercut. That's funny.
So I got one last question. I know you're the right guy for this. Explain how the double ultimate football game works in Top Gun Maverick. Are there rules? Did you guys really play? I mean, what was the story with that whole thing?
Oh, the double football thing was an interesting technique for me because I played football and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. I'm being honest, it didn't make sense to me. But it was fun. It was.
So I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
No.
Even
You're not
you
alone.
didn't. Yeah.
You gotta suspend belief in the film. But it was actually a fun game to play. I was like, oh, okay, I can see how this goes. So you just have to, the intent was to play offense and defense at the same time. So you have some people who need to be on the defensive, and you have some people that need to be, attacking. And when you're dogfighting, you do have, if you think about it, you do have, like, let's say it's us three. I would be attacking the target, and then I would have y'all two defending, making sure that happens. So, maybe you, Steve, you may be dealing with the aircraft carrier. Make sure people don't come and bomb there, and you may be, protecting my six. So, you can make it make sense.
Yeah.
Rational. You make it make sense.
All right. I'm going to go back and look at it again. Hey, this has been great, man. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning in theaters all over the world right now. Congratulations. By the way, would love to have you back anytime, but you really got to commit when your name is above the title, which is only a matter of time. We want you to come back.
God willing, I will be here first stop.
Awesome, man. Hey, Tarzan, thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
There he is, Greg Tarzan Davis. Sue, he fought a long time. He was a real grinder, and he finally broke through after 2 years.
When he said, I said, I'll give myself 2 years. I was like, but you know what? I don't find him to be an arrogant guy at all. Just so confident. And you know what? That kind of attitude, like whenever I had an audition and I was nervous about it and I was like, oh God, I don't know if I'm right for this, or I don't know if I'm going to get it. And I'd be intimidated by some of the actors that I would see waiting to audition. I would, I just psych myself out. Right. Every time I just went in and said, just go in and do it.
Throw it away.
Just throw it away. I would get it. So,
That's funny. So I always think, just as a coda to that. Oh, as a coda to that, that's actually pretty smart.
Uh-huh.
I took something from President Barack Obama. They said, because he would struggle during the preparation for speeches, and they would always say, he's a red light player. And he always nailed it. And so I took that, and I'm like, all right, red light player, let's roll if I'm on the spot on something. I took that from there, and same thing. But it's a matter of, you're right, when Juan does an audition, throwing it away is oftentimes the right thing to do.
Well, because you're at your most honest,
Yeah, right. Is there a red light here? Red light player. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to Greg Tarzan Davis. Sue, great seeing you. And we will see everybody next time on the Culture Pop Podcast.